Sometimes we get so excited when we start a new relationship. We want to spend all of our time with our new partners. We start having dinner with each other every day, spending time at each other's apartments every other night, going on dates every weekend. And then a few weeks or a few months go by and you realize you haven't spoken to your friends in a while. It's addicting, spending time with a new partner. But what happens if you lose yourself in the process? Hi, my name's SK, and welcome to Heartstatic, the podcast where we tune into the background noise of our thoughts, feelings, and everything we're too afraid to say out loud. If you can see my face, you're probably watching this on YouTube or Spotify, or I really don't know where this is going to end up going, but you're watching, so that's fun. As the weather gets colder, I'm seeing more and more posts about cuffing season and wanting to spend time with someone in the winter months. Now, if you don't know what cuffing season is, it's usually this time in the year between like October to February or March, I guess, the cold months where there's a lot of holidays and like people want to get cuffed up and they want to be in a relationship with someone so that they aren't alone for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day, whatever. And that totally makes sense to me because humans are naturally social creatures, as I'm sure we've all been told. We crave community, belonging, companionship. It's natural. It's why we enjoy spending time with friends, going out to parties, hosting. But why do we crave someone in the colder months, but want to be single in the hotter months, you know? Is it because, like, cuddling gets too sweaty in July? Seasonal depression? We need someone to keep us from remembering that it's, pitch black at 4 p.m.? Cuffing season versus hot girl summer. It's probably all of them. And some other things. But clearly there's some sort of societal influence to fluctuate between singleness and being in a relationship. There's also a phenomenon where couples break up in the fall, specifically. A lot of things can attribute to that. School starts again and the stress is overwhelming, remembering, what routine is like, how to get back into it all. If you're long distance in your relationship and you were spending time with each other all summer and you have to go back to long distance in the winter, then you might just be like, I can't handle it anymore. I can't do it anymore. But I feel like as a society, we pressure ourselves to be in a relationship. It's become a sign of doing well, a promise of good future, regardless of how healthy the relationship is. If someone is single, that tends to be like frowned upon. Like if you're like 25 or older and you're like, yeah, I'm single. Like, have you ever seen those videos of people, they gotta be some sort of YouTube channels or something. They walk up to people on the street and they're like, hey, are you single? And then they if they say yes, which is, these YouTube videos are probably about like making sure you go on a date. Like that's their whole thing. But the people in the street feel embarrassed for saying like, yeah, I am. Like it doesn't, like you're young. And even if you're not young, even if you're not in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, who cares? That's why the divorce rate is like 50 or something, right? Wait, let me look that up. U.S. divorce rate in 2025 is estimated to be around 39 to 42% of all marriages, with about 40% of first marriages ending in divorce. This rate has been declining, attributing to factors like marrying people later, higher education levels, blah, blah, blah. While the overall rate has going down, divorce rates remain higher for second marriages, over 60%, and third marriages over 70%. Yeah, so are we so obsessed, so afraid of being alone and single that we'd rather be in a toxic relationship and like suffer the threat of divorce than just being on our own? Like there's so many shows about love. Love is Blind, 90 Day Fiance, Bachelor, Bachelorette. Like it's literally being shoved down our throats to like be with someone, be in a relationship. You have to be with someone, otherwise you're going to be alone forever. You have to find someone now. Dude, no. Like, maybe we think it's easier. Maybe we think it's easier to accept someone else's flaws instead of our own, because once you accept your own flaws, you have to accept the fact that you have flaws at all. Like it's easier to fix someone than to fix yourself, because that means you have something worth fixing. It's easier to think that other people are doing worse than you. But that's not what relationships are for. We'd rather work on other people, fix other people, make sure we curate our own image so that we can, seem like we're, quote, doing well, and make this false appearance for ourselves by getting into a relationship that means we got it all figured out. But by doing so, we're losing who we are. We're stripping ourselves of our identity of who we're meant to be, who we're capable of becoming. We become our image. We become the image that we want to create, and become so obsessed with it that the image doesn't necessarily reflect anything. We become obedient to the way that people perceive us because we want to be perceived a certain way. But that perception is tainted. Ultimately, there's no way that you can manipulate the way everybody sees you. I've talked about this before with friends of mine, but no two people see you the same way. They're all like these different cards. I'm picturing like a deck of cards or tarot cards or something all in front of you. And you're all those cards, according to different people. Each person hands you a card. Maybe this doesn't make sense. You're all these different cards, all these different facets. They're all you, but none of them are really you. Is there a real you? Who the fuck are you? Didn't mean for this episode to send you into an existential crisis. Point is, like, there's no way to truly manipulate the way that people perceive you. The only thing you can do is change the way you perceive yourself. And if you feel that your validation, that your worth is determined by whether or not you're in a relationship, that's something you have to work on. That's something that you have to change about yourself while you're single, or if you're in a relationship and watching/listening to this, realize that, like, you are your own person. And I touched on this concept of being your own person in a previous episode, so here's a clip from that. For the longest time, you were a we, however long the relationship was. But you have to remember that you were always a me, an I. Even during the relationship, you were a me. You were a me-we. A we-me? Don't be a weenie, be a me. And now I say that because, well, it's true. I'm always right, and that's why I said it. Because I'm right. Because it's true. Okay. No, but I'm sure you've heard this elsewhere, or maybe experienced it yourselves. Like, you or your friend go MIA because you're with a new partner, and you realize you haven't seen each other in weeks, months. A month? 2 months? A year? I don't know. It's possible that this is a common trait of a friend of yours. When they're single, it's such a good friendship. You hang out a lot and you make great memories together, but you dread whenever they start talking to someone else because you know that once they start dating, you know you won't see them for a while. Or maybe you won't see them until they break up, and then it's like back to normal. Why do we do that? I feel like in the beginning of a relationship, when you first start a relationship, there's this high you get. There's this high you experience because I mean, that's the honeymoon phase, right? Like you get to feel validated, you feel special, you feel unique. I feel like a lot of people are constantly chasing that validation. This loops back to the concept of feeling validated by being in a relationship. It feels good to have someone learn about you and care and find you attractive and find you funny, and wow, the fact that I can still be all these attributes to a new person, that means I'm new and cool and fun and whatever. I'm probably not explaining it right, but it is like that feeling of being charismatic, that feeling of having someone's attention, that feeling of being magnetic is addicting. It's the concept of feeling special. Somebody's making you feel special, and you don't want to let that go. Yes, you have your friends, they're going to be there for a while. That's why people feel safe, feel comfortable in pursuing this other person, because you always feel like you have that friend group or your parents or whatever to lean back on. They'll always be there. But this is someone new. I can go for this person. The problem is, once that high fades, it's possible that you'll feel the need to chase that again. Whether that means breaking it off and choosing someone else, whether that means cheating, whether that means trying to revamp it within the relationship you already have. That's not something you're ever going to be able to achieve again. Not in the same way. You can't relearn something about someone. You can't feel that unique specialness in the way that you can with a new person. And that's not to say you'll never feel special with your partner again. Absolutely not. It's just the newness is a unique feeling. The feeling special and new, like you can't feel new after you've been new, you know? Now, I myself have attributed my value to being in a relationship. I never was someone who brought attention to myself. I never knew how to do that. And I was always jealous of any of my friends who could. And I got to my head, and it's like it became a level of status for me that if I wasn't in a relationship, I wasn't worth attention. And it came to a point where in all of my relationships, I didn't want to break it off. I would have done anything to keep the relationship together, including losing myself in the process. That was the problem. It took being dumped multiple times by multiple people before I started realizing how much I encompassed my actions around someone else's opinions. A man's opinions, no less. Sorry if you're a man and listening to this. Thanks for listening. I don't know if it's ever this bad with other people, but it was to the point where every step, every look in the mirror, every outfit I'd buy, every brush of makeup, it would be to appease my partner. I'd think, oh, I hope they'd like this picture, or I hope they'd be proud to have a girlfriend who can take a selfie like this. Whatever. And it's not like these partners ever made me feel like I had to. Absolutely not. It was, if anything, that kind of discouraged me from making any opinions about myself based off of them. And I was like, oh yeah, no, sure, I'd never go to college for a guy, which is true. Or I'd never, shift my life around a man, around my partner. But I was in denial, and I wasn't able to truly perceive what I was doing to myself. I thought these thoughts of like, oh, I hope my partner likes my hair today. I thought all these thoughts were just to like keep me company in my brain. I thought they were for fun. But I didn't realize how these concerns about my partner's opinion of me and like just being in a relationship, how deeply rooted it was in me and how it attributed to my value of myself. And if I did ever question it, I just dismissed it because I didn't think it was that much of a problem. I took dating seriously, and like if we're dating, we've been together for years, it doesn't matter if I care so much about my partner's opinion or not. We're gonna be together forever. Right? I'm not saying that you should avoid opening up to your partner in case you guys break up. That defeats the whole purpose of dating, of living, of being a human. Unfortunately, going through heartache is how you learn. Pain is growth. Like when you cut yourself, when you scrape your knees as a kid falling off your bike, yeah, you cry. It hurts, damn it! It hurts! But eventually, you get up from the ground and you clean yourself off. You put rubbing alcohol on it, and that hurts as well. It hurts! Okay, enough. But you've taken the time to thoroughly cleanse the wound so it doesn't get infected and make the pain last longer. That is a direct translation to letting yourself feel feelings after a breakup. You need to put the rubbing alcohol on there, or else the infection would leak into other aspects of your life. Your emotions will become not your own. Eventually, with time, the wounds will scab and they will scar, and the memories of the pain will always be there. That scar will always be there, and it will remind you of what you went through, of what you learned, what you were able to achieve from that relationship. Whether that's finding out what you don't need, or finding out what you do need, or finding out if you're not ready for a relationship yet and you fell into the trap that society pushes you in, that being, if you're single, you're a loser. Without the scars and without the pain, without riding the bike, without knee pads, you won't learn. You have to learn what you need, what you want, what you aspire to have in a partner, what you aspire to become with a partner. People will affect you regardless of your relationship with them, whether that's your friends, your roommates, your coworkers, your teachers. People will affect you regardless of the relationship you have, and they'll all leave a scar on you, teach you something about yourself. If they don't, and if you're not letting people affect you, you might not be affecting other people. You're not doing this right. If you're not letting people affect you, you're just kind of like floating around, haunting. And that sounds harsh, but it's like without interaction with other people, your brain becomes an echo chamber, and everything that you say, everything that you do, there's no shift, no change. That's why we have teachers. That's why we don't learn stuff on our own, because we can learn better from other people. We can get different perspectives. Your way is not the way. You live on in people's lives far after you've left them. And I'm sure you can recall a series of people right now who have affected you to this day that you don't talk to anymore. People who have contributed to the person that you are today. And rest assured, you are that person for other people. But worrying about affecting other people is the opposite issue that we have today. What happens if you let others affect you too much? If you become only what people make of you? If you need someone to make you who you are. There may be some people who act differently when they have a partner. They stop making time for you. They treat you like a second choice. Like you reach out to them and you're like, oh, we haven't spoken in a while. I guess these are going to be two female friends, I guess, because I love to imagine, Trent and Chad being like, you know what? Let's do that. Hey, bro, Chad, I haven't seen you in a while, man. I miss you. when we linking up? When we gonna hang out? And Trent's like, sorry. Emily and I are going out to the movies, and then we're going to the zoo, and then we're going to the aquarium, but then that weekend comes, and he's like, never mind, Emily and I are, Emily's mad at me. Do you want to, hang out and watch the game? Or, another thing that I know that people do, they bring their partner to all of your events and all of your hangouts. Why does he have to be there? Why do they have to be there? This is a girls' night. Boys' night out. Whatever. Why the hell are you so codependent, attached at the hip? It becomes a little worrisome for that person if you can't exist on your own. I mean, like I was talking about before, relationships can bring a lot of validation to insecurities. They can talk you down from self-consciousness, from doubt. They can offer this constant flow of support. Who doesn't want that? But that's not what that's for. That's not what relationships are for. And that if you need a constant flow of validation from someone, get a therapist. They might not be able to do that either. They shouldn't be doing that. That if you feel the need to rely on someone to validate yourself, to talk you down, then you're not capable. You shouldn't be in a relationship because you don't have the love for yourself yet. You don't have that internal support for yourself. You can't stand on your own 2 feet first before you walk over to someone else. You don't have 2 legs to stand on, to use, to walk over to someone else and find them and be like, do you want to be my partner? And they go, yeah. Oh God, what a chaotic episode. Point is, you need a foundation for yourself. You need to find a foundation that you can hold yourself on before you bring anyone into your life in such an intense way as it can be with a romantic relationship. Finding this exponential amount of support from someone else, that's not your partner's responsibility. That's not your future partner's responsibility. They should, compliment you. They should express love for you. They should be able to be there when you're having a bad day. Yes, absolutely. But they should not be the only ones doing that for you. You are the first person in your life that you can count on. You are the first person that you can really rely on when you're alone, you're with yourself. You come into this world as a me and you leave as a me. That might be dark, but it's true. You are the person that is going to spend the most time with yourself. Once you get out of a relationship, if you during that relationship you depended on your partner so heavily that without them, who are you without them? Who is going to talk me down for my doubts? Who is going to tell me that I'm good enough? Who is going to tell me that I'm worth all of this trouble? You realize how frail of a relationship you have with yourself. You realize how you've neglected yourself. You are going to spend the most time with yourself. I think it's a good idea to take the time to get to know yourself, to appreciate singleness, to appreciate being alone, and learning how to love yourself in the right ways where anyone else's love feels secondary, not necessary. It's nice for someone else to love you, to care about you, to tell you about their bad days, to rely on you, for you to rely on them, but that's not primary. Primary source of love for yourself is yours. It should come from you. And it took me a long time to figure that out. Like I said, it took me multiple people breaking up with me to be able to be like, oh shit, I love me. Oh, I love me, guys. And something that I've started doing is doing things alone. I love the concept of solo dating. If you're single, do a solo date. I hate the way that, like, the image comes to mind of, like, how all girls go to the bathroom together. That's always bothered me as a kid. Like, yes, like female bonding, let's go out of the bathroom together and let's have a good time and let's talk and gossip and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's great. No, that's cool. But it's like, I've had friends before where it's like, I need you to come into the bathroom with me. Why, are you okay? Yeah, I just need you to come with me. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean I need to go to the bathroom with you? Do you need me to hold your hand while you pee? Like I do all this to say, do things by yourself. Learn what it feels like to romance yourself. Learn what you like to do. I've been wanting to I wanted to learn how to glass blow, and that's totally been on my New Year's resolution thing, but I don't think it'll get done before the new year. We'll see. That's the thing. I'm keeping myself from doing it because I keep having this thought of, like, I have to do it with someone else. I wanted to do it with a partner or with friends. But it's like, what the hell is stopping me from just going and doing it on my own? Just going to a class on my own, going to a movie on my own, going to the mall on my own. Somebody stop me before I keep naming locations you can go to alone. Even if you're in a relationship and you find yourself slipping into that momentum of, my partner validates me at all times, I don't need to count on myself, go on a solo date for yourself. I think that would be fun and interesting. And see what it does to you. See how you feel after that. If you're like, oh my god, this feels so awkward, you have to go on another one. No, just kidding. You don't have to go on another one. But, like, see how you feel after or while you're on this solo date. And if it's like, I hate being alone with my thoughts, that's probably a sign that you need to spend a little more time with yourself to really think about, why are my thoughts like this? What the hell is going on? And then it's like, are you using your friends and your relationship as a distraction from yourself? I think of your brain as a home. If your home life mentally is in disarray, then how the hell are you going to be able to leave your house? It's like, have you ever watched Hoarders? I just started watching Hoarders clips, and holy crap. Holy crap. If there's all this crap around your mental home, how the hell are you going to reach the door? How the hell can you leave and feel comfortable leaving the house? And, like, if you do leave the house, no shit. And by leaving the house, meaning, like, using distractions, watching TV all the time, reading all the time, sleeping all the time, drinking all the time, spending time with people so that you don't have to look at all the clutter in your head. No shit, you're never going to want to come back inside because all that crap is in there. You have to take the time to get rid of all that clutter, to do some spring cleaning and really examine yourself. The most important relationship you're ever going to have is the one you have with yourself. Because that, like I said, that is the person that you will spend the most time with your entire life. No one is going to know you as good as you do. And the only way to do that is to spend time with yourself, is to really appreciate yourself, really practice self-love and learning more about yourself and not waiting to see if your friends or if your partner's available to do that one thing you've been really wanting to do. I'm going to sign up for glass blowing after this episode, after I finish recording. But yeah, It's so important to find time for yourself. Learning how to love yourself is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. And keep that as a reminder to fight this societal influence of constantly needing to be in a relationship. You don't have to be in a relationship if you're not ready for one, if you don't want one, if your value is not stripped, your value is not tanked if you are not with someone. You are still special, you are still loved, you are still unique, you are still everything you wish to be. And you can be so much more without a relationship. If you want one, get one. If you don't. Learn how to love yourself first. Build that foundation, declutter the hoarder's house that is your mental home, and learn what it feels like to be you. And you will gain this whole new appreciation for yourself, and your value of yourself will skyrocket. Yeah, I am hot, I am smart, I am funny, because you will know yourself fully, and that is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Thank you guys so much for listening. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like my intro-outro music, they were made by my friend Dari Kolchitsky, and you can find more of his information at warmglowrecords.com. Once again, that's warmglowrecords.com. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow this podcast wherever you find yours. Also, be sure to follow the Instagram at heartstaticpodcast, where I post questions, updates, and anything you want. Just let me know. I might be posting this on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, I've posted this on YouTube, and I'll attach the YouTube URL in the link tree on the Instagram. Don't worry. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.